This episode of Bleach was fucking incredible. I mean, wow, like a lot of the budget went into this episode, and you can clearly see that the animation, wow, the animation was crazy. So many things happened in this episode. I mean, the last 5 minute of the episode was just plot twist after plot twist. That's crazy. I mean, we get Yamamoto and Yuha, or now that everyone that has watched it is Yamamoto versus fake Yuha, or Lloyd Royd, if that's the right twin name. We get real Yuha revelation, Aizen revelation, Aizen and Yuha conversation. The flashback, we get to see more of the flashback between Yamamoto and Yuha. And then obviously towards the end where Yuha seemingly he slashed Yamamoto in half or vertically. I don't know. It looked like Yamamoto is going to die. I don't know. It's just the way they did the close-up shot with Yamamoto's face. He looked fucking sad. He was just standing there like it's as if he knew that was it. He couldn't do anything. He looked completely helpless in that shot. Yeah, I do not have a good feeling at all with the next episode. I'm in a loss of word. I can't even process. Right now, I just literally just watched the episode, reacted to it. And I'm trying to get everything in order here. So, we started off with the episode where we left off with Yuha grabbing Kenpachi by the throat. Yamamoto gets Zaraki Kenpachi out of the way. We get the confrontation, the long-awaited confrontation between Yamamoto and Yuha Bak. Then we see three Stone Readers, Basby, Asno, and Nanana. It seems to me that Nanana has defeated Rose from the Squad 3 captain. Basby, we didn't see who Basby fought against with, but he's there as well. So they basically get taken out with ease, obviously, Yamamoto. Then we get the Yamamoto and Yuha starts the fight with incredible sequence of animation. I'm talking about like very fluid, smooth movement. Like the way they animated that, like that was an extension from the fight from the manga. Really happy we get some extra fight sequence between the two, and to see it very well animated. And the way they animated Yamamoto's speed was phenomenal. Like you could clearly see that Yamamoto's speed is no joke. It's too fast to be able to keep up. Then we see Yamamoto appears to release his sword power to the entire Soul Society, because the entire Serite is very hot. Everyone is being affected by it. Everyone's skin is being dry. Shunshui lip got cut. Hyorimaru is useless. It's melting. Everything in Soul Society is being heavily affected by Yamamoto's Bankai, and I really love that transition where it appears the sky was all gloomy and everything, and all of a sudden the sky is pitch bright because of Yamamoto's Bankai power. Zanga no Tachi. Then we basically see Yamamoto explaining to Yuha, is his sword the same from 1,000 years ago? And this is really cool. We get like back and forth flashback throughout the episode of Yamamoto and Yuha Bak, and I really love that. It seems like a lot of the shot that's happening in real time exactly happened back 1,000 years ago, and it looked like Yuha is going through the exact similar experience he was going through back then, as to what the flashback was showing of him, Yuha, being on the defensive and losing the battle heavily, which is what's happening in real time. Then we see Yamamoto swings Yuha, cuts Yuha's robe. The tip of his sword is that powerful where the entire section of the ground and buildings just evaporate like it's nothing, like it's crazy. The power feat on Yamamoto is ridiculous. Then we see Yamamoto going into Zanga no Tachi west. I believe he did east first, which is the one where everything's compressed into his sword. Then we went into Zanga no Tachi west, and this was epic. He's literally become the sun itself, and basically the temperature can reach 15 million degrees or something like that. It's beyond ridiculously hot. He's literally the sun itself. And Yuha's blood vein is so freaking powerful to the point where he's able to not get disintegrated. So Yuha's blood vein is really strong. But regardless, Yuha Bark is forced to go in the defensive because remember, the Quincy can only utilize the blood vein once. They cannot use the blood vein for defense and attack. Yamamoto's approaching the Yuha terrifying. The way he's approaching the Yuha, we see like lava forming underneath Yamamoto's feet. And then basically from here on out, Yuha is completely defenseless. Like he's running out of option. Then we see Yuha use this, I forgot what it was called, it was Zinkwa, something like that. The way they animated that was pretty fucking cold. Like it was really great. Then we see Yamamoto, probably one of the most epic part of the anime episode. He slashes down his sword on the ground. Then he says Zanga no Tachi south. And this particular scene was awesome. Basically, he brings out the undead. We see a whole bunch of CGI skeletons. Some of them are 2D as well, incorporated into CGI. Some of them are just pure CGI. And we see all these skeletons slowly approaching to Yuha Bak. It was so epic. And this looks like Yuha Bak never saw this ability before. I think Yamamoto never showed this part of his Bankai to Yuha 1,000 years ago. So it seems that Yamamoto from 1,000 years ago didn't go all out. But here Yamamoto is going all out. He doesn't care. He wants to obliterate Yuha Bak as much as possible. And he's shown all his cards. So basically Yamamoto is bringing out the undead soldiers that he killed from 1,000 years ago. So a lot of Yuha's close subordinate are part of the soldiers that Yamamoto killed, and he's using that against Yuha Bak. And I really love that. It really shows that it's like Yamamoto's telling Yuha, now you know how it feels like when you kill someone close, referring to Sasakiba. And Yuha's going through that, and we clearly see that through Yuha Bak's rage and scream. And Yamamoto takes a few steps back. That whole sequence where Yamamoto does that one swing, and we see multiple colors, multiple different animation in between, was fucking phenomenal. That sequence alone was expensive. Like I don't know how much money did they put into this episode. I'm curious. What is the budget per episode? 'Cause this episode, they must have put like a lot of budget into animating it like that. And basically Yamamoto is clean in half. He gets taken to the ground, and they did not censor this at all. They showed the whole shit. All right, which is what I appreciate. Yuha's on the ground. It starts raining. Okay, now from here on out is when it's mindfuck. Like we get plot twist after plot twist. And before I get into that, they completely remove the two twin power difference, which I was surprised because that explains how that Stern Reader was able to mimic Yuha so well. But they didn't explain that. They completely removed the two different twin powers ability, which I was very surprised because it will make people more confused as to what's really going on. Like there's no explanation as to how that Stern Reader did it. But anyway, it's a very interesting choice they did that. But I see what they did. They removed that scene to give us an actual scene of the two villain powerhouse, Aizen and Yuha's conversation. So before I get into that, we see Yuha, or fake Yuha at this point, reaching his arm to the sky saying, "Forgive me, my majesty." And then we see the real identity of the fake Yuha. And it wasn't Yuha at all. It was a stone reader that had the ability to mimic Yuha. So I'll explain this now because for some reason they didn't show it in the episode. So basically, one of the Royd, I think Royd Lloyd, I might get the two names mixed up. The one that the Kenpachi killed, one of the stone readers that Kenpachi killed, he had the ability to mimic the power and appearance. That's how he transformed into Kenpachi. But the one that Yamamoto was facing against with, that twin power is able to perfectly have the ability to have a perfect memory of that person and appearance, right? So that's why Yuha, when Yamamoto was facing Yuha, he couldn't tell the difference because that stone reader had the ability to have Yuha's memories and Yuha's appearance. I believe that's the case. Okay, so that's why Yuha couldn't tell if it was fake Yuha Bak or not, and because he had Yuha's memory, he was able to utilize most of Yuha's abilities. Mm-hmm. So that was the other twin power that Yamamoto faced. We get a nice shot of the real Yuha Bak behind Yamamoto, and Yamamoto's Squad 1 barracks has been completely obliterated, and his third seated officer, Okibiba or something like that, he got killed obviously. So not only did Yamamoto lost his Lieutenant Sasakibe, but he also lost his third seat officer, Okiba. And Yuha Bak then tells the stone reader, Royd Lloyd, that you did an excellent job. And what's fucking sad and menacing is that Yuha Bak completely destroyed him. Just like that. Even though he did almost a perfect job that Yuha Bak wanted, and he still destroyed him. Like, dude, what the fuck? This guy went out his way, putting his body on the line, managed to perfectly mimic your memories and appearance, got Yamamoto fooled, made Yamamoto use all his card, and you reward him by pinpoint exploding him. Yuha Bak is a cold, cruel, savage villain. This guy has no heart. He's brutal. And then we see Yuha stealing Yamamoto's Bankai. But he doesn't actually use Yamamoto's Bankai. Instead, he uses one of his ability. I don't know if it's one of his strongest ability, but basically he breaks the sky and a massive Quincy sword comes down. He grabs that shit. And Yamamoto looks like he just gave up. Or it's like Yamamoto knew that he can't do anything about it. And then we see Yuha saying farewell, Genrusai Yamamoto. And then we see like a close-up shot. And we see this shot and Yamamoto looks fucking sad. We see like a glazed shot. He looks fucking sad. He's like just still. It's like he's ready to accept death. That shot right there means that it looks like he's going to die. And then we see Yuha slash his sword to Yamamoto, and it appears Yamamoto got cut in half. Talk about the irony. He cut fake Yuha in half. And then 5 minutes later, Yuha cut Yamamoto in half. And that was the episode. Now I want to touch upon, apart from the insane animation that we got throughout the episode, the effect, the visual, the colors, the CGI, the extra scenes, the Uru anime exclusive scenes that we had in the beginning and a bit towards the middle, the whole back and forth with real time and flashback. Aizen and Yuha's conversation added into this anime. This hands down is the best episode of Bleach. Easy. And this episode is going to be hard to top. But I do believe, like the way they've been adapting this episode, I do believe the next episode will even top this episode. Not exactly animation wise, but from a directing standpoint, and the emotion, and the shit that's going to happen in the next episode. So this episode was all about the crazy animated fight. The next episode is more about the emotion, the aftermath of this battle, and of course what happens in the second half of the episode is also emotion as well. Wow, this episode was just a roller coaster of straight up crazy fight sequence, animated sequence, different type of animated sequence. I didn't know what to say anymore. I can't even process what to say anymore. So that was my raw review of the episode. Now onto the stuff that has been added, removed. So the stuff that were added, I think I mentioned before the Ururu anime original, including the diary and the drawing of Yamamoto from his early days. That's all added. Yamamoto saving Kenpachi from Yuha. In the manga, Kenpachi just kind of vanished. The shot with Toshiro Soifon, Konomura, reaction to Yamamoto's flame, that was added. All the flashback, image, spot, that we got the whole back and forth, that was all original. We never saw that fight in the manga. So we did somehow get that fight incorporated into the actual fight itself. The entire beginning section of Yuha and Yamamoto was all added content. Yama charging and Yuha chucking rocks at Yamamoto was all new. The whole blowing away the rooftop was new. In the manga, we didn't see the ground actually being exploded like that. The anime showed that. And the shot where Yuha is imagining all the Quincy in front of him as he's approaching Yamamoto, that was all new. And of course, the Yuha and Aizen meeting is actually shown in the anime. Whether in the manga, Yuha just mentioned that Yama, he had a conversation with Aizen, so that already happened in the manga. But in the anime, we actually see the conversation, which is probably the best anime added content they did there. Now, onto the cut content. Asuna and Nanana also had a dialogue when attacking Yamamoto in the manga. In the anime, only Basby speaks. Yamamoto saying the reason they couldn't steal Ichigo's Bankai because Ichigo's Bankai is still new. There's still room of development to grow. The Lloyd and Royd backstory, this is the one that I'm actually shocked that they actually removed this. The Lloyd and Royd backstory and how their power works. It also makes it kinda unclear that Royd and Lloyd and two different people and how they yourself is different between them. That being said, guys, that is my review. What do you think of this episode? I mean, I'm giving this episode an 11 out of 10. Technically a 10 out of 10, but I'm giving it 11 out of 10. I didn't care. This episode was amazing. I mean, extended fight sequence, well animated sequence. Aizen and Yuha actual conversation. Man, I don't want to keep rambling. I already went through this in my review, but I'm giving this an 11 out of 10, 10 out of 10, whatever it is. It's a perfect episode. I see you guys next week. Comment down below what you think of this episode. Were you satisfied? Did the hype live up? Did it deliver? Let me know down in the comment down. My goodness, I can't even say the word. Let me know down in the comment below what you thought of this episode. Do you agree with my points? Do you disagree with my point? Do you disagree with my score? Do you think it's perfect? You don't think it's perfect? Let me know down in the comment below. Tell me about it, guys. I'll see you guys next week. It's your boy Joda S, signing out. Peace.